Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Capes and Lunatics. Me, Phil, Lilith is here, Justin is here, and special returning guest, Mr. Jeff Johnson. Hello, sir.
Hi, everybody.
And yes, we are here to talk Rogue's Kingdom because, what is it, issue 2 has gone ahead. It's full steam ahead from here, correct?
Yeah, we made our pledges, our campaign number, and a little extra too. So
nice.
Yeah, we had a ton of rewards. So I think the packages that people are going to get are going to have more than just the comics. They'll have like a coloring book and some stickers and a bookmark and some postcards and yeah. So it was a pretty good deal.
Oh wow, that sounds like stuff we used to get. Like all kinds of freebies and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and tons of digital stuff too. The people that I'm working with, Kevin over at Ink Pulp, everyone who does a Kickstarter with him kind of gives access to this library. So if you like fantasy stuff for Rogue's Kingdom, there's other digital books that you'll be sent to as sort of bonus books. So it's a great way to sort of spread the community around.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
very cool.
So you were kind of talking to me and Lilith before we jumped on about like doing your art back in the day as compared to now, like on the boards, as compared to digital. So with the Kickstarter, with Rogue's Kingdom, and like you have a little more lead time. Do you go back to the old school style, or do you still have to do it digital?
Yeah, I do storyboards and comic books. And storyboards you kind of have to do on your screen on your Cintiq, and you use a very specific program. And it's all digital, and that makes perfect sense because there's a million people who have to touch it, and it goes through all kinds of iterations. But when it comes to drawing comic books, I still like to draw on paper. I still I do my layouts, and I'll scan them in and I'll move them around. But when I actually sit down and draw, it's on paper. I was just showing Lilith this. This is going to be the cover for James's novel.
Oh wow!
Singular Pair, and it's these two people riding through a sunflower field, and I'm drawing it by hand, and like it's still fun for me. I still like drawing on paper. I can't get over it. Yeah.
And does it help? I don't know, to do some of the stuff digitally these days because a lot of people will be reading it digitally. So you see how it looks, or
I think that there is one of the most important things to remember while you're working digitally is that. When you're drawing it on paper and you're drawing it analog, you can only put so much detail into a panel, right? So I have the smallest pen I use is 0.005, and so that's as small as a line as I can get, and I can't get a thinner line with a brush anyway. So, but and that line picks up easily when you print the book. But when you're working digitally, for me anyway, there's a tendency to like push way in and work on the minutest detail of that rock way back in the side of the castle that it's going to get, you can't see it. It's going to wash out in print. And so you just spent a day noodling something that is not going to be seen. Some people like have a lock on their brush when they're working digitally, so they can't do that. But I just like to stick to the analog for me when it comes to comics. You know who's great doing digitally, and his stuff. I think his stuff looks like it's still done on paper. It has that kind of like artsy, texture to it. Is Ron Garney's his stuff on Berserk?
Oh yeah,
yeah. His stuff is all digital, but it has a very vibrant, lifelike. He's been able to capture that sense of that, that drawing on paper, that feel in his digital work, and he's a master at it.
Yeah,
I have not been able to do it. He has told me many times I need to switch to digital, and I just can't do it. Yeah, and when Ron Garney tells you something, he's right. You should be doing it, but I have not been able to.
You think some people just pick up the digital more quickly?
I do think so, and I also think that it's what you practice with, the hours that you put in. And I know that I have younger friends who draw comics. And they swear by it, and they've almost never drawn on paper. They almost all just use their pad, and a lot of guys now have just started drawing on the pad. So I think paper is very much a remnant of dinosaurs like me.
Well, if it makes
Yeah.
you feel any better, I just went back to school and I was handwriting one of my notes. Like I was gonna transfer it later to like my MacBook and everything, but they were like, "What are you doing?" But like for me, I'm a tactile and auditory learner, so as
Yeah.
I'm listening, I like to write, and that just helps it stick in my brain a little bit better as opposed to typing.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
think
definitely one of those things.
yeah, I do think that there is something. They've done a bunch of studies where if you're listening to something intently, it's better for you to take notes at the same time. It triggers memory and it helps you remember more.
Yep.
I have tons of sketchbooks here. I practice drawing all the time, and so here's one of my sketchbooks. It's been around for years, and so I'll just do stuff. I can't find a fun page. Like I'll write notes to myself and study. I was studying different kinds of cats and how to like cartoon cats. So I think that kind of thing for me still works better on paper, like a sketchbook, a practice book, as opposed to doing stuff on digital. Yeah.
So
It's got sort of a haphazard throwaway feel to it. Like I'm just studying. I don't have to think. I don't have to make it great. I can just be drawing.
So, as like a working artist, are you always drawing? Like even in your free time, are you just like doodling, or does it keep it fresh? Or
Yeah, I love drawing. I do. I think that for me anyway, because I know people who only draw when they're working. But for me, I definitely I like to practice stuff, and I like to keep my hand moving. I feel like it's I like to do a warm up drawing. I mean, it's not athletic in the same way that a sport is, but there is a warm up period. There's a loosening up period before you really get the juices flowing. And so I like to do that on paper on a sketchbook. And a lot of times too, when I find that I'm constantly drawing stuff I don't know how to draw. So I have books full of like wolf heads, horses are always still hard for me. So I have to practice horses all the time and try and figure out how their anatomy works. And I definitely think that I am drawing all the time, but a lot of it is just practice and trying to keep the skills up. So,
Very cool.
Yeah. Also, guys like I have my buddy Scott Collins. He can just sit down and just start drawing, and it looks great. I can't. I've never been able to do that. I have to like get in the groove, and I have to listen to the right music. I have to romance it a lot more than some people do.
Do you have a specific playlist for when you draw, or are you just like any music, just put something on?
Listen to I've been listening to a lot of Thievery Corporation lately, which
nice.
is they're a groovy kind of a band from a long time ago. They still do new stuff, but I'll listen to a lot of soundtracks depending on the mood. Like the Conan soundtrack is a great one if you really need to get motivated. Yeah, that's a great one. And then I'll listen to a lot of audiobooks too.
Nice.
Yeah. And if you're in the middle of the night and you're just trying to stay up and do some work, I'll put an old familiar movie on, like The Thing or A Big Trouble in Little China, something that I've seen a million times.
Lots of explosions, it seems like.
Yeah.
Just in case she goes off, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Like the cannons roaring in an opera. Yeah. Yeah, something to keep you company in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of what we haven't covered yet for Rogue's Kingdom, because again, it's the market is just so big, because I swear pretty much every comic book professional, anyone from the last like 30 years, I swear if we talk to anybody, they have a Kickstarter book, and it's like there's so much good stuff out there, but it's just the market is
remarkable.
Yeah.
There's and I find that the Kickstarter artistic community is super open and friendly and supportive, right? Comic books in general, I think, have always been a really great sisterhood and brotherhood of people who just love making art. So that's not different. But the fans are really incredibly supportive. Like the small batch press that we do is more expensive than a store-bought comic, and so but they're willing to pay extra for that, and they're really engaged, and they let you know what they like and what they're looking forward to on your work, and so it's really motivating. And I do think that some of the best stuff is being done out there. There's great work being done, and great old work being reprinted, like the the Steve Rude Nexus stuff with Mike Barron.
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
That a
Love
huge campaign, but
So
like
good.
it's a gigantic book of awesome art. I mean, I love
Yeah.
Nexus. When I saw that, I was super happy.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I think people are willing to pay more because it's like, you know, if someone's doing a Kickstarter book, they're pouring more of
And
their
they can
heart
get
into
paid
it.
their worth too.
Yes,
I
and
know,
That's
like
true.
mainstream comics, like
Yeah.
we have a couple of friends that say that the price for the per page hasn't really gone up.
In years.
It's true.
Yeah.
It really hasn't. My page rate at Marvel is still pretty much the same that it was in the 90s.
Yeah,
Um,
that's insane.
We heard that from someone else too from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy.
Writers, artists, they're not.
So I do think that's the beautiful thing about places like Patreon and Kickstarter is that, you know, somebody wants to like really pay your worth and like they enjoy your work and they understand what goes into it.
I do think so, and also I think that they understand that the support that they're giving goes right to the artist and the creator.
Mhm.
Yes. That's
I think
huge.
that Marvel and DC have done a very deliberate job to separate the creator from the creation when it comes to comics nowadays.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I know that there's not a ton of guys who do a long run on books. You know, there's not a ton of artists or writers that are associated necessarily with characters in the same way they used to be. I mean, it used to be John Byrne's X-Men. You know,
Right.
it used to be, you know, who the Neil Neil Adams was a Green Lantern guy. Like, you knew, like,
Mhm.
this was the guy, this was the book, and they were synonymous. And I don't think that really happens much anymore.
No, because I don't think they really give anyone like more than
Yeah,
a year
it's
or two
very
on a book.
intentional.
Yeah, I do believe it's intentional because they want the characters to be the focus. I think the guys, and this might be, I don't know, this might just be my feeling on it, but back in the day when the Image guys split and they took so much star power with them to make Image,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I do think that Marvel and not so much DC, but Marvel decided that they weren't going to let that happen again, so they did not create superstars in the same way that they used to.
Mhm.
We've
Yes.
had that discussion several times. We're big
Oh, yeah?
Image fans. Like big 90s comics culture is like it's this whole little cosmos of just very interesting things that like branched off and you can like trace back to literally that time.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Like like that specific like between 93 and like 98.
oh yeah. It was the
Mhm.
Wild West back then for sure.
yeah.
Because then you had Malibu jumping in, and it was.
Yeah, and you were in the Ultraverse too. You had you took part
I
in the
did a character
Ultraverse,
called
which I
Solitaire
love.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Solitaire. Yeah,
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, he was a super fun character.
yeah, I love that book.
And I know that Disney owns all those, and at CrossGen too. Disney now owns all the CrossGen stuff. So all the work I did trying to branch out to different companies is now owned all by one company.
Well, that's just late stage capitalism. I'm sorry you got caught up in
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, I fought it as long as I could, but I got swept up.
I'm sure they. Has Marvel contacted you at all about maybe doing some more Wonder Man stuff? Because I think that series is coming out at the end of the year. So
How did I know he was going to ask that question?
They have not.
I beat Justin to it.
Yeah, they haven't, and I hope the series is good. Everything that guy that looks good.
Oh, he's a great actor.
Um,
Yeah.
Great actors are in it. I have no idea. At first, it looked like they were going to be doing sort of an adaptation of my run, where he's a stuntman in Hollywood. But the clips I've seen more recently looks like he gets his powers on the show, like he's already playing Wonder Man. It seemed a bit confusing to me, so I'm not sure what era they're doing or what kind of version of Wonder Man they're going to do.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be.
But yeah,
weird.
they have tons of younger, more interesting guys drawing comics now for them than an old guy like me
They've been
from the
taking
90s.
a dip back into the 90s and really
Yeah.
like reaching out to the 90s writers and artists to
Oh,
try
have
to
they?
capture
Oh.
that nostalgia.
Oh, that's nice. That's kind of cool. Like, what have they been doing? Like, what new
Like
books
for
have come
instance,
out
like with
it?
D.G. Chichester and the Black Armor,
Daredevil,
and then
Black Armor.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And before he passed, they let Peter David do a bunch of stuff, like some Hulk
Oh,
stuff.
right.
And,
The
Yeah.
Great Hulk. Yeah, Joe Fixer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Because we're the only ones with the money.
Right.
Yes, us people who were
Right.
on in the 90s. Yeah, we're,
Disposable income.
Well, I mean, and also like those books were fun, and I don't
Right.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't read a ton of new stuff, but I don't know if comics were as just kind of easy to
It
get
wasn't as
into as they
corporate?
were back. Pardon?
It wasn't as corporate. Like I know, like when
Oh,
they were
right.
like really started to solidify like the corporateness and like really the big two started becoming the big two, and you couldn't just like say do a DC versus Marvel without a whole bunch of lawyers
Right.
and dang near a congressional, interview.
Right. Well, it is funny too. When I did, when I was working on Wonder Man, I've always wanted to do a sideways book. I don't know if we talked about this before or not, but I'd always wanted to do a sideways book. And one of the issues is the background characters became the stars. They're called the Crazy Eights, and they got all powers. And Fabian was my editor, and I said, "Hey, wouldn't it be? I think it'd be cool if I did this book as a sideways book because Wonder Man is not really in it. It's more about these offbeat characters." And he went, "Yeah, go ahead." And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. Yeah. And that was, and then I did the sideways books, and I loved it. It was awesome.
It was so much fun. Yeah.
And I just don't know if that is, if it would be as easy as that was now.
Everybody's very risk averse, I believe, is the catchphase right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but comics, you have to take chances. I mean,
you have to tell for a while.
You have to follow the story wherever it goes, and sometimes that is a sideways book.
Yeah. I think that's why people are hungry for these Kickstarter books, is because they're not related to this other stuff. You don't have to worry about an event going on,
right,
or this being wrapped up in 60 to 80 years worth of continuity. It's wholly original ideas, and it's great too. I think people are hungry for that. They're hungry for original characters, original ideas, new stories, and not this kind of reinventing the wheel that the other two are doing constantly.
Well, one of the things I also think that makes Kickstarter a better place to be making comic books, for at least me at the moment, is so James and I we write the comic, and then there's that part of the story is in the stuff that I draw, and then James also writes these short stories, these prose stories that fill out the world and give more background and context for the various characters, and I do illustrations for those. And then I'm a huge D&D fan, so I've done character sheets for the characters.
We were talking about that last time. I love that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so what's super cool about that is like James has also written more about those characters that's only available on the character sheet. So you'll get insights into who they are on the character sheets. And then he wrote a novel called The Singular Pair, which takes place in the Rogue's Kingdom world, but like 300 years before the events of our book. So you get a huge glimpse of like what the history was, where some of these places that Londo and Peachy are going, what they look like centuries before they get there, and the different cultures. And it really kind of gives you a broader sense of the world. And also we have like the stuff that he wrote on the back of the postcards is super cool, but is only on the postcards. So, and there's going to be special stuff in the coloring book. So I do think that, and something we couldn't ever do at Marvel and DC is like, we have expanded the world to include all kinds of different content that still is part of the world, and we get to share it how we want to share it, and I think that's fun. And I just think it's super fun.
Yeah.
So how did you two meet and decide to work on this book together?
James and I have been friends since the Malibu days. He was working on, I think it was Firearm. Yeah, and so he was working on Firearm, and I was working on Solitaire, and then I was a big fan of his Starman stuff, and so and he's cool. He's just super cool. So we became friends in the 90s, and then I've just always been doing other stuff. And then when I moved to Oregon, I moved out of Los Angeles, and we started talking more, and then we kicked around this book, and it's been brewing for a while. And it's basically just we both had free time, and we figured and that's how we decided we wanted to do a book, is that we had the time. And then Rogue's Kingdom just sort of came out of a bunch of back and forth conversations about like what kind of book do you want to do, what kind of characters do you want to write and draw and stuff. So yeah, we've just been friends forever, so that we finally got we made a chance for ourselves to work together.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love that.
I've heard this conversation before, but it seems like it seems so simple, but it's like I think that's where the magic happens, is when the writer says to the artist, "What do you want to draw?"
Yeah.
Well,
it really is. So we knew we wanted to do something together, and we've both done a ton of superhero stuff, and so we knew it wasn't going to be that genre necessarily. I like adventure, and so we kind of thought like maybe we do a sci-fi thing, but then we started talking about Three Musketeers and some other movies that we liked, and So Lord of the Rings, Three Musketeers, The Hobbit, all that stuff kind of kept coming up. And then once I kind of really latched on to a visual of like France in the 1700s but with dragons. So Three Musketeers, but with like monsters and magic and stuff. I know it's not necessarily a new idea, but I really liked the idea of it. And then started kicking it around, and then Peachy and Rondo just sort of appeared in some of the drawings, and we really liked those characters. And then once we had our two main guys, then we started to flesh out the world and what the story would be, and that's when Princess Terra showed up, and like all these things just sort of like once we decided what universe we were going to play in, a lot of the other things just sort of popped up.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll be a bunch of work and time and effort, but I'm thinking next campaign, somebody spends, I don't know, $100 or more, maybe a Rogue's Kingdom board game, or some kind of D&D style game, maybe.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was just there's in issue 1 in the story of Arlo, the guy who's also in the cart that James wrote, this backup story. He loses at a card game, and so we want to actually start really maybe build that card game for real, so you could get it and play it, and it would have all kinds of cool art on it, and it would be a game that you could play. But then also the D&D stuff, like we want to start, or for our next one, we want to make like miniatures of the characters so that you can play them in D&D.
Painted or unpainted? That is the question.
Unpainted. Yeah, I
lazy people like me. Boo.
Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of friends who do Warhammer, and they take so much pride, and they're so good at painting. Painting figures. I would never want to step on anyone's toes.
I love it.
Yeah. So Phil, that's something that we've been talking about it too. Like, yeah,
that's great. I can totally see a D&D like a campaign adventure set of this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a D&D guy down there if you need any.
So it was fun. It's so fun. I would love to get your feedback, Justin, on like. So I play, and a friend of mine is an amazing DM, and so we've rolled up the characters. So the first two characters we have sheets on are Rondo and Princess Terra, and so I really tried to make them like you could just start playing them right away. Like rolled them all up, did all their attributes, and they had their histories of weapons, all their gear, and so we want to have like the next thing we are going to do like the little figures of them, and so you can play them. That would be really cool. So I do have a question for a D&D guy.
Yeah.
What magic system, like what magic school do you think is best for a wizard who's going to be doing? He's not going to be a necromancer. He's going to be. I mean, it's kind of like a. How would you do Gandalf as a D&D wizard?
Oh, that's a good question. Because his magic was really different. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. He didn't summon anything. It was more like. See, I'm more familiar lately. I've been playing more lately on 5th edition, so that's kind of what I've stuck in my head.
Me too.
Stuff's kind of been shoved to the back a bit.
Right.
I think it's called is it called abjuration? Maybe.
Okay. I know abjuration. So like evocation, abjuration.
Yeah, something like that. Evocation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because I've developed a magic system for the book that makes sense for the characters. But I have been struggling trying to put it into the D&D framework. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
so we might split the schools.
Something like that, like an evocation, and maybe a little bit of cleric stuff in there too.
Okay. Yeah.
Might be time to throw out the book, Jeff, and make your own.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the trouble. Is like we made our own first. I'm trying to retrofit it so the character sheets work. And I hit some blocks. It definitely hit some walls. Yeah. So I think we'll futz a bit.
Nice. There's so many different details to iron out.
Yeah.
Those characters. Yeah.
It is definitely easy to get into the weeds when you're doing D&D. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Oh, I do know. I wanted to ask you a little off topic because I like getting comic creators' opinions. Have you seen Superman and Fantastic Four yet?
You know, I've been working on the Kickstarter for so long, I haven't had a chance to see them yet. I'm really excited about both of them, though. I've heard, I have friends who want to tell me everything, but don't want to spoil me. So I keep getting like little bits and bobs. So I'm really excited about them. Do you guys like them?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I highly encourage you to go see specifically Fantastic Four at the theater, though. I think it's...
Oh, good. Yeah, it's definitely big screen action, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, and Galactus looks so good.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Just even on the commercials, he looks amazing.
Oh yeah, just wait till you see. Yeah, just the scale and everything. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's stuff. I'm going to reward myself now. The campaign is a success. I'm definitely going to take myself out on a date.
Nice. Very cool.
So how long do you guys usually run a campaign? Is there like a set time or?
I think the standard is 30 days from the beginning to the end of the campaign. In ours, we actually we enabled the late sign up, late support campaign, like the late pledge, so people could still pledge if they want, if they missed it for some reason. But it takes me, so it's about a month of doing it, and then it takes me a pretty good amount of time, like a week or so, to like build it, to put all the pieces in place and get all the artwork in and write the text with James to make sure that we're saying it the way we want to say it. So I don't know, a couple months maybe to put it all together and to run it.
Is it like, is it nail biting every time, or like you're like kind of
this is only
groove now?
Well, this is only my second one, and yeah, super nail biting. Super nail biting, because if you don't make your campaign goal, you don't get to print your book.
Yeah.
And so I've been lucky the both times we've made our goals, and hopefully that'll be a consistent thing for us since we have such great fans. But yeah, throwing it out there, raising the flag up, seeing who salutes, that's always scary.
I know Will always tells us it's almost like a roller coaster because it seems like high when he starts, it kind of dips, and then towards the end it like shoots back up. So
yeah, I've experienced it twice now, so I'm still a super novice. But because you do while you're building it, you have it under construction and you let people know you're building it, and so a lot of people can come and they sign up to be notified. So when you do finally launch it for real, you get a huge rush of people who have been waiting for it, which feels amazing. Right? It feels great. And then once those people get it, then there's a lull in the middle where you have to let more and more people know about it, and then it's terrifying because you're like, oh, is this going to make our thing? And then at the end, there's often a rush for people who've been waiting or haven't decided yet or forgot, and so you get a big boost at the end, which is what happened to us. Yeah, no, it's a nail biter for sure.
And then plus you have to be like your own promotion. You guys have to be your own promotions department and everything.
Right. And I try to not be an introvert, but I'm basically a very shy person. So like the idea of constantly, hi, look at me, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to do online. But you gotta. You have to get your book out there.
And no matter how you are, it's like I said, it's hard because there's so many talented people out there. Everyone has like a Kickstarter. It's just like, how do you get the word out?
Yeah, there is a lot of great stuff out there. And it is Ron Randall is a friend of mine, and he does Trekker, and that is amazing. He was super supportive during this whole process, and his book is great. And even if you're not competing with people who are doing new awesome stuff, there's so much great old stuff to get. Like, didn't they just repackage all the Harbinger stuff?
Oh yeah.
And then the last big book I got was a compilation of the Mike Grell Sable stuff, that big book that he did a long time ago. I love that thing. But like, if you're going to drop 100 or 200 books on a giant tome, you only have so many entertainment dollars. I get it. I appreciate everyone who decides to spend theirs on my book with all that other great stuff out there.
Oh yeah, because I look and I'm like, man, everybody if I love from comics, it seems like they have a Kickstarter. It's like, it's like, where do you even start?
Yeah.
Or like,
and it must be tough too, right? Because their Kickstarters are all going to be their passion projects. The thing that they've always wanted to do but couldn't because of time or companies or whatever. So everything that's being done at Kickstarter is 100% someone's baby, right? Like they're really putting their heart and soul into it.
Oh yeah, like I know you can probably attest. All the blood, sweat, and tears you're putting into a Kickstarter book. Everyone. People are passionate about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What recent thing did you guys get? Did you get a Kickstarter recently that you really liked?
Well, there's a few. I mean, like of course our friend Will does.
Yeah, I was gonna say Will's was
crossover division.
Crossover division.
Not to play favorites. Yeah, Will.
Yeah, play favorites. That's the best.
And like again, DG Chichester, who we talk to every month. I mean, he put out one issue so far. He's working on getting number 2 out. Axel's Infernal. So
oh, right on.
Yeah, there's a
nice.
Yeah, and then even like God, like some of the big names, I was like, I didn't think they'd have to do Kickstarter, but like Jam D. Mateus, he found like a company to like do all the promotions and stuff for him. So he puts out like four books at a time. It's just like,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
His stuff is great. Yeah, well, I mean, if you can find someone who is good at running a campaign, then and you can just concentrate on doing your art, it's the best, because then not only do you get a really cool product out there, you get the time, to really work on it and focus on it, which is hard. I mean, it's hard to do if you're trying to run a business. Like I respect everybody who is able to put one of these things together. There's a lot of moving pieces. And
especially with all the noise online these days. Like I was reading that article. It's like 50% of all internet traffic are bots.
Right.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that is frustrating when you think you're reaching a customer, but you're like, oh, this isn't a real person.
Yeah. So yeah, just having like somebody dedicated to just that part and knows how to filter and maneuver, that I could see definitely being handy.
And like I said, it just all the traffic, because I think like name your favorite comics creators, and I guarantee you probably 99% of them have a Kickstarter, at least one Kickstarter.
Well, I mean, Zach Howard, he did a cover for us, and his Moonshine and Bigfoot is fantastic, right? And that was on Kickstarter, and the artwork is stunning. And I think it's also coming out through Image, so I do think that there's some crossover stuff there. But that book is amazing, and he spends so much time on every page that I don't know if you could do it any other way.
Well, that's like we were even talking before, like they were doing it for G.I. Joe. Now I think they did it for Transformers too. Image was putting out like big hard back reprints of like all the Marvel Transformers and G.I. Joe stuff.
I love that stuff.
Oh yeah. Like you could buy it by volume, or they were like even like selling. Oh God, what was it like 3? It would be like the GI Joe stuff. It was like 3 like hard back big huge books of like all the whole Marvel collection and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So
that old Michael Golden stuff too. Those old covers and.
The originals.
Man, that was great.
Yeah.
So then you're competing with stuff like that too, and it's just like, geez.
It's tough. I mean, the market's always been brutal, but I think now, like the quality of writing and art, and I do think not just in Kickstarter, but just in your regular comic book store, there is such a wide variety of really high caliber story being told, and so much of it is. I mean, I love superhero stuff, but I also love tons of other things. My wife gets a book called Monstrous from Image that is
Monstrous.
That thing is stunning.
So cool.
And I just don't know if it would have found a place in the 90s, right? But now it has. It can get space on the shelf in a way that I don't think a lot of comics could back in the day.
Yeah.
Your wife's a novelist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are both creatives and kind of know the pains of like being stuck and having blocks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she works way harder than I do, and but her office is just right next to mine. So there's a lot of times we'll be in the same house doing, working at our desks, and then just sort of pass each other in the in the hall. like where are you at? I'm in Lumpland. Like, where are you? Well, I'm in the universe that she's made for whatever book she does a ton of stuff for Harlequin, and she just wrote a series of books under a name Hazel Beck that's called Witch Lore, that are really, really great, that take place in this cute little town. It's sort of based in Missouri. So we live together, but sometimes are not in the same universe at all.
Good job, Lilith. Now I can report back. Not only did I promote my stuff, I promoted your stuff.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Check that off the list.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So you said you're not reading a lot of new comics.
Yeah, I have not been. I kind of got focused on trying to figure out what I wanted to do with Rogues, like this kind of style that I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mixture of a lot of storytelling, and just drawing stuff that I really like. And I found that the more and more I looked at other comics, I kept being like, oh, well, that's a cool panel layout, or that's a cool page design. And so I kind of had to put stuff away so I could figure out just the look that I wanted to do for Rogues without having any more influence. So recently I started going back to some of my old favorites as I kind of figured it out. And like, I've been rereading a lot of Rick Leonardi, like the Spider-Man 2099.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I haven't got a lot of new comics recently, but I pulled out a bunch of my old favorites. And so I've been reading just a ton of Rick Leonardi, and Alan Davis, and Hal Foster. I've been going at over lately because he's definitely a visual signpost for Rogues Kingdom. So yeah, but I'll be heading into the store soon enough to spend too much money catching up on all the cool stuff.
I was gonna say,
and Berserk. The new comic I've been reading is Berserk a lot. So I know it's not necessarily
the one by Keanu Reeves, that one, or a different one.
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves one. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that
but the anime one, yes. The manga one, yes.
Yeah.
That I have all of those.
Is that the sad?
What was the name of that comic book that you started reading? It Cyberwolf, I think. It was like a Scooby-Doo set in the future type of comic book. I can't remember. We talked about it a couple of months ago.
Cyberwolf sounds cool.
Yeah, I was making a mental note to try to go back and find what that was. And try to hunt that down and read that because it sounded really interesting.
And here I am, like, Doctor Who? Are you talking about Doctor Who?
Cyberwolf, something like that.
Doctor Who is great. How do you like the new Doctor?
He's okay. The story's
well, like it's very controversial to talk about Doctor Who right now. Like they took it off of a lot of the streaming sites. I don't know what's going on with Who right now.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh,
yeah. It's kind of in the
he was like kind of cut short. It seems like I definitely the new regeneration seems a little controversial, but I did enjoy his story. I thought it was like fun and fresh and young. Like we had old doctors for so long, you know.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah. There was some really great stories in there, but I
did like the end of the David Tennant stuff though too. I liked he came back and I like that he's just at peace. That makes me happy. There's an old doctor who's not in the fray anymore.
You just kind of retire. Yeah.
Justice for the 8th Doctor. That's all I have to say.
Yes, he never got his due. I always said that he should come back. The new Doctor or somebody should just disappear, and then the TARDIS disappears, and it kind of fades to black, and then all of a sudden somebody comes wheeling around the corner, and it's the 8th Doctor. And that's
I like the look for the 8th Doctor.
Yeah.
But how did you get to work for so many companies, like a comic book company? Did you just show up, say, "Hey, can you check my stuff out?" Or I know it was like a lot easier back then.
I do think it was a lot easier back then. So I started in the '90s, early '90s, and I got my first gig really at Marvel. And then there weren't that many books, to be honest, comparatively, as today. And so if you were on a book, then everyone was seeing your stuff, and that was really helpful. So I did Wonder Man, and then I did some Spider-Man stuff, and I worked at Marvel, and then I shifted over to Malibu and did Solitaire. And then while I was doing that, I sort of bounced around and did some Green Lantern. And I think that really it was just knowing the people doing the books, right? So I'm going to say it, luck for the most part. I was just super lucky. Like when I was available when someone needed something, like when Ron Mars was doing Green Lantern, they needed a third guy to sort of fill in and be in the Green Lantern rotation. So me, Paul Dale, and Daryl and me, we sort of just swapped Green Lanterns going around, which allowed me then to have some free time to do other projects and stuff. So, I just luck. And also, when you would go to shows, and this is where it gets a lot simpler, I think, than it is today. Like you, before the internet, and if you were at a con and people were talking about what books were coming out and what they were working on, if you were all hanging out, then you just knew what everybody was doing. And so if you had an empty space or someone needed something that suited your particular style, then someone would just ask you. It was so much easier. Like, I remember when I first started breaking in, and I had to get the attention of editors, I just cold called. I would find out what the numbers were to their offices and just call up. You can't do any of that now. Everything's email, everything's a website, everything. There's very little personal, I think, connection for the new guys to sort of like to make friends with editors and whatnot. That's how I did it. Like I said, just the right place, the right time a lot. Like once I knew Fabian, and I met Fabian before I broke in for years, and I would go to shows, and like Marvel and DC used to show up at shows. They would send editors and all kinds of presents, and so they were often recruiting people with talent or with the desire to do comics. And I know they still do that, but I just don't know if it's there's not that personal touch. Like you can't actually make that human connection. I think that's more difficult if someone has to.
Especially
if they don't
in the creative
know you,
space.
It
seems like a lot more personal, or it should.
It does.
Be.
Yeah, I think it was for sure. Because then you would, if you're friends, like if you know someone and they know that, like say I'm pretty good at fight scenes, and they had an issue coming up where they needed someone to do fencing or kung fu or something, then I would just get a call because I was known for really giving a lot of thought to choreography and stuff like that. Whereas someone like my buddy Dan, who is doing amazing cover work, Dan Panocean, his
he did
work
the
is out.
wraparound cover, right?
Yeah, he did for it. I penciled and inked it, and he colored it. It just did a killer job. So his stuff is so good, and it's just out there, and people see it, and everyone knows who he is. And so they just call him. They just like, hey, we want this kind of cover. So I do think that still happens, but maybe not for the younger generation, where they're more locked into the digital side of it.
And some people are like used to have to be like in the not at the office, but like close enough to like mail it very quickly. I mean, now with technology, people they have people from all over the world.
Yeah, like Tori, she's way over there on the other side of the ocean.
They got people in, yeah.
I mean, so I do think that makes it harder for local guys to get attention, because if you have access to the world, you're going to find what you're looking for. I'll tell you guys a sneak that I did and a lot of other guys did back in the day is you would go to New York, you would go to the office, and the trick was to get an appointment with an editor, with someone in the office, and so you get to go in. But once you were behind the door where the office was, where all the editors were, and you were done with your first meeting, you just wandered the hall and like looked into doors and introduced yourself and said like, "Hi," like it took balls, right? It took you had to really you had to go for it. But I remember wandering the halls after a meeting and just making contacts and being like, "Hi." And so even if they didn't like your work, they remembered your face and your name. So when you called later, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're that son of a bitch who just walked into my office." Well, guess what? I do need a backup. I do need someone to draw this thing.
Just drop a page of your art on the floor. Oh, sorry, I've dropped that.
Oops.
Yeah.
Got this amazing Spider-Man. Be ashamed if it didn't end up in a book.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, it'd be a shame if something happened to all these figurines. Yeah.
Like when you were working for Marvel or DC, like how many books could you do in a month? Because these days they're making people do like 3, 4, 5 books a month.
Was there somebody with like 6? One of our
Erica
Schultz
Schultz
has like 6.
Yeah.
As an editor?
A writer?
No, it's like a writer.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I could never pencil more than one. I mean, occasionally I could do one in a month for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But as writers go, yeah, they used to have to write 4 or 5 books a month. I remember Fabian was writing a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He was writing X-Force and X-Men and a bunch of other stuff that would just come up. Like, yeah. And I know, Byrne was penciling and writing like 2 or 3 books a month at a point there.
Oh, some of them. He was writing, penciling, inking.
Editing.
Editing, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know how those guys did it, honestly. I mean, I hear stories about Kirby drawing 6 pages a day and doing layouts for every other book in the office, and I just can't get my head around it.
They were built different back. They literally had to succeed at that point, so they did what it took. And I think that kind of like brushed off on like to a certain degree this like the first and second generations that came after them, that was still in the atmosphere. They were still in that same office.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what rubbed off for sure.
Well, yeah. Also, I'm Kirby drawing with the side of the pencil. Just here you go. This is what it is.
Oh yeah, you'll love Fantastic Four. That movie is a love letter to Jack Kirby.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I love the Fantastic Four. I did it for a little while back in the late 90s, and I really fell in love with all those characters, and I'm excited to see this version of them, because I think that it's traditional. It's the traditional Fantastic Four, but they're all a little bit, they got their own vibe. So I'm really excited to see. I mean, everything
traditional but modernized in just the right way, not like a try hard way like the 20th Fox Century stuff was, like just for the sake of it.
Paint and
yeah.
I remember the Doctor Doom, like he would like click his little gauntlet, right? Remember that?
Oh no! Yeah.
Some stuff sticks with you. Some stuff is traumatic.
That's a great word for it.
Yeah.
So did you always want to do comics, or did you want to do some other kind of art like animation or?
Yeah, I always wanted to do comics. I mean, I started reading them when I was super young, like around 4 or 5. And that's how I learned how to read, was from comics. And then I just love comics, and I always wanted to do them. Even in high school, I did a newspaper strip for our local newspaper, an adventure strip, that with my buddy of mine from high school, and we did one every week. And so my first samples were actually just photocopies of my newspaper strip that I did, and that's how I got the attention of some editors and some other artists way back when. So yeah, I've always wanted to do comics. After CrossGen went under, I was kind of disenchanted with comics. And so I was lucky enough to get in. Dave Johnson was working on Justice League Unlimited as a background artist. And he was moving over to create all the Ben 10 stuff. And so there was a slot open at Warner Brothers on Justice League Unlimited for a background guy. And I tried out for it and got it. I think mostly I got it because they didn't have to change the name on the door. So they're like, oh, just put a different Johnson in there. They're both comic book guys. It's all the same. So once again, I slipped in under the radar. But once I did animation, I really loved it. I loved working in animation. I did that for like a decade, but then part of me always missed drawing comics. There's something about it. Like, it's just such a pure expression of what the story you're trying to tell is.
Yeah. Oh, especially now, Kickstarter stuff. It's, you guys have a vision.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I definitely think that the work I'm doing now is probably my best work ever, and I think partly it's because I get to do everything. I get to design everything from the ground up, and then I get to decide on the tone and the vibe, and it's a lot of responsibility, but I do think it's very freeing that I get to be like, this is exactly what I want it to look like, and nothing else looks like that. Yeah. I think that's one of the things that makes comics so great is the small team, right? It's the and the best, I think, are books like when Frank Miller did Daredevil, right? He's writing and drawing it, so it's the purest form of his expression, and I think that's clean. I think that's real clean, and you can get a lot of, I think, deeply emotional relationships built that way.
Yeah, and it's a smaller team as opposed to like animation.
Oh yeah, animation. It's a big crew, right? Like when you see the names go by real fast, and an animated thing is like all those people worked super hard, but like it takes a fucking army to make an animated series, man. It's so much work. So many drawings. Oh,
I know.
Was there a favorite animated show that you worked on, or were they all like just all had their own special little?
I loved my time on Transformers Prime. I mean, that was just a really great show, and the crew was great. And it was a blast. I love my time on that, and I really enjoyed my time. My first gig as a character designer was on the Boondocks, and that was really fun because I didn't know anything about hip hop or rap or Brooklyn, in that kind of that era where it was all kind of like where the most of the style was coming from. So that was a real education for me because I also didn't know any of the slang. And Aaron Magruder would write in, he would just write it in whatever the slang was. And so I remember having to walk in the office and be like, it says here he's wearing his chicken and waffles. I don't know what that is. And so just had to be so embarrassingly out of the loop. Is like, it says here that she's a hoe-belle. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're saying right now. So that was fun and a very silly time in my life where I just looked like a fool every day.
All right. Any other questions, or should we let Jeff go here?
You can let him get back to it.
Yeah.
It's been great talking to you guys. This is been a blast.
Thank you very much.
So Jeff, direct the people where they need to go for Rogues Kingdom.
All right, so it is inkstudios.live/rogues. It's just on Kickstarter. If you just look up Rogues Kingdom, it'll go right to it. We finished the campaign today. Thank you all very much. There's still late pledges if you want to jump on and get stuff. We are going to be sending out, I'm working on finalizing the digital comic this next week. And so once we get that locked in, everyone will get their digitals and then we'll go to print. And I'm hoping to have the book out to everybody as soon as possible within a month and a half, something like that, depending on printing schedule. So I'm really glad that everyone jumped on board and helped us get this thing done and made it happen. And I'll start working on issue 3 right away. And so hopefully I'll see you guys soon as we talk about that one. And I'll make sure to send you guys a preview copy so you can check it out.
Cool. Thank you. As more and more the world gets like fleshed out for Rogues Kingdom, does it become easier? Can you are you getting them done quicker, or?
I think as more, so I have my team in place now. I have an inker and a colorist, and we worked out, putting the first book together, we worked out all the various bugs in our style guides and all that stuff. So all of that is way easier. But when it comes to the design stuff, no, there's so much more stuff to be done. I'll give you a quick preview. So in the 3rd issue, we are introduced to the Magic Library. And so the Magic Library is gigantic and there's all kinds of stuff hanging from the ceiling. And it's, I'm over designing the entire world in there. And then we're going to meet a bunch of new characters that live in the library. And then, so every issue, it's tons and tons of new stuff. But it is getting easier because I now know what it's all supposed to. When I draw something, it doesn't fit in the world. Now I know it's wrong, right? Like now there's a consistency to the designs that feels natural. So that in that way, it does get easier. But James and I keep pushing the boundaries. There's so much going on. And in the next trade paperback, once this one's done, we're introducing just a ton of like new monsters and dragons and all kinds of new places to go and new villains. So yeah, it gets easier on one side, but then I make a lot of extra work for myself.
It's probably hard but fun. Is it just like, does this dragon need a second head? I don't know.
You mean, do I? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I was just working on a different kind of wing formation that's like kind of double, like extra. I can't even like. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out the math of like, how do I give this dragon's wings extra joints so it looks even cooler and creepier? Yeah. So I'm not making it easy on myself, Phil. I'm certainly not doing that.
All right. Thank you again, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. Can't wait to see it. And yeah, again, when 3 comes out, let me know. We'll
all right. Yeah, this has been great. Thanks for having me back on.